Coming up on 5 Minute News. Florida governor seeks to break up majority black districts. White House weighs new virus response as pressure mounts. And British scientists make giant leap in fusion technology. It's Thursday, February 10. I'm Anthony Davis. Florida's Republican Governor Ron DeSantis is taking the unusual step of asking Florida's Supreme Court whether Democratic Representative Al Lawson's plurality black district, stretching from Jacksonville to Tallahassee, can be broken up into whiter and more Republican districts, breaking with rules that communities get grouped together so they can select their own leaders and flex their power in Washington. That type of request might typically face steep hurdles under state and federal laws that are meant to protect representation of marginalized communities in the nation's politics. But the ground rules may be shifting after the U.S. Supreme Court sided this week with Republicans in Alabama to block efforts to ensure that black voters are adequately represented in Congress by adding a second majority black district in the state. The ruling stunned civil rights groups who have watched the court's conservative majority steadily eat away at the Voting Rights Act for decades. While the law's rules governing how to draw legislative lines based on race still stand, advocates worry the justices are prepared to act with renewed fervor to eliminate remaining protections in the landmark civil rights legislation. That, some worry, could embolden Republicans in places like Florida to take aim at districts like Lawson's and ultimately reduce black voters' influence on Capitol Hill. Under the 1965 Voting Rights Act, mapmakers are required to draw districts with plurality or majority of African Americans or other minority groups if they're in a relatively compact area with a white population that votes starkly differently. Under pressure to ease up on pandemic restrictions, the White House insisted on Wednesday it is making plans for a less disruptive phase of the national virus response. But some states, including New York, made clear they aren't waiting for Washington as public frustration grows. Governor Kathy Hochul announced that New York will end its COVID-19 mandate requiring face coverings in most indoor public settings, but will keep it for schools. Illinois announced the same. Earlier this week, New Jersey, Connecticut, and Delaware all disclosed plans to join states that have lifted or never had mask requirements for their schools, and Massachusetts will follow suit at the end of the month. Biden, who has long promised to follow the science in confronting the pandemic, is hemmed in, waiting for fresh guidance from federal health authorities, who so far recommend that nearly all Americans wear masks in most indoor settings. Defending Biden, Press Secretary Jen Psaki acknowledged that while people are tired of masks, the administration is following the advice of medical experts who rely on scientific evidence. Clearly feeling the pressure, the White House for the first time acknowledged movement in its planning, saying conversations have been underway privately to develop plans for guiding the country away from the emergency phase of the pandemic. We are working on that guidance, CDC Director Dr. Rochelle Walensky said in a White House teleconference on Wednesday. As we've been encouraged by the current trends, we are not there yet. Scientists in the UK have taken a significant step closer to mastering a technology that could allow them to one day harness nuclear fusion, providing a clean and almost limitless source of energy, British officials said on Wednesday. Researchers at the Joint European Torus experiment near Oxford managed to produce a record amount of heat energy over a 5-second period, which was the duration of the experiment, the UK Atomic Energy Authority said. The 59 megajoules of sustained fusion energy produced were more than double the previous record achieved in 1997. The agency said the result was the clearest demonstration worldwide of the potential for fusion energy to deliver safe and sustainable low-carbon energy. If we can maintain fusion for 5 seconds, we can do it for 5 minutes and then 5 hours as we scale up our operations in future machines, said Tony Don, program manager for Eurofusion. This is a big moment for every one of us and the entire fusion community. Ian Chapman, CEO of the UK Atomic Energy Authority, said the results were a huge step closer to conquering one of the biggest scientific and engineering challenges of them all. The facility, also known as JET, is home to the world's largest and most powerful operational tokamak, a donut-shaped device that is considered one promising method for performing controlled fusion. Scientists who were not involved in the project believed it was a significant result, but still a very long way from achieving commercial fusion power. Researchers around the world have long been working on nuclear fusion technology, trying different approaches. The ultimate goal is to generate power the way the sun generates heat, by pressing hydrogen atoms so close to each other that they combine into helium, which releases torrents of energy. Scientists hope that fusion reactors might one day provide a source of emissions-free energy without any of the risks of conventional nuclear power. You can subscribe to 5-Minute News on YouTube with your preferred podcast app. Ask your smart speaker or enable 5-Minute News as your Amazon Alexa flash briefing skill. Subscribe, rate and review online at 5minute.news. 5-Minute News is an Evergreen podcast covering politics, inequality, health and climate, delivering independent, unbiased and essential world news daily.